My fellow Americans, our movement is far from over. In fact, our fight has only just begun. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. So with American pride swelling in our hearts and American courage stirring in our souls, I say these words to you tonight. We will make America great again.
Just got a peek inside Obama's black book, and it turns out Barack knew the Russia hoax was a hoax all along, but pushed it anyway to sabotage the Trump presidency. DNI Tulsi Gabbard declassifying pages and pages of documents showing Obama's intel guys briefed him just weeks after the 2016 election that the Russians didn't actually sway the election. Quote, "We assessed that Russian and criminal actors did not impact the recent U.S. election results. Criminal activity also failed to reach the scale and sophistication necessary to change election outcomes." But Obama just couldn't accept that. So he and his staff instructed intel agencies to cook up new reports to support Russia collusion. Quote, "After the meetings, Clapper's executive assistant emailed intelligence community leaders, tasking them to create a new intelligence community assessment per the president's request that detailed the tools Moscow used and actions it took to influence the 2016 election. Tulsi Gabbard described what she found as a conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people. And she says the people involved should be prosecuted and has made a criminal referral to the Department of Justice. We knew Hillary created the dossier, and now we have proof that Barack was calling the shots and the documents to prove it.
You can't always tell everything that's going on right up front, because if you tell everything that's going on right up front, then your enemy is going to know exactly what you're doing.
I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
So yeah, we have a bigger issue than just Democrats. We have an issue of the American indoctrinated people that just let things like this go. It's been happening for years and years and years, and frankly, I'm sick of it. And so I'm just telling you, they're telling you, and they've been telling you this stuff in front of your face for a really long time.
Our own government working against us. I mean, we've always had the government working against us. We just didn't know it. Good afternoon, everybody. This is April LaJune, and I'm so glad you guys are here today. This is so amazing to me that 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, I don't even know how many, well, 10 years ago today, not today, but 10 years ago, Donald Trump came down the escalator and said that he was running for president. So, you know, we've been dealing with this whole conspiracy crap for at least that long, as far as like reporting is concerned. So this is not new to me. It might be new to you, but it's not new to me. And it's not new to a whole bunch of people that are in the audience at the moment. I want to say hello to Kim and Richard Reeves. Nice to see you guys here. Gloria, how are you? She's in Louisiana. So that's pretty cool. And we've got Envy Carr. Nice to see you too. Miss Persistent RN over there on the East Coast. And let's see, Linda Dubois, how are you? Shauna Vision's over there on Twitch. So let's see. Well, Star. Oh, Miss Hayworth. Nice to see you over here today. She's over there on Rumble. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people that are on Facebook and X. X people don't talk very much. I will say that. And so we're on X and YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and whatever else. But what did I say? Facebook, YouTube, all of them, whatever they are. We're on it. So, Rumble. I think I forgot Rumble. So anyway, just want to say hello to all the people out there that are still supporting my show after all this time, even though there was a year delay. And there was a year delay there because they were trying to, hey, Felix over there on Rumble as well. They've tried to suppress me so much, it's ridiculous. And yesterday they tried that on Facebook, and that didn't work because after the notification came that they had disconnected my feed, I reconnected my feed. And it was because they said it was misinformation, which it's not misinformation. It's actual true information. And that's the thing, is Mark Zuckerberg went before Congress and said that, yes, he was getting pressure from the Biden administration. I don't know how. I've only been kicked off Twitter once. And then this is my second account. But Mark Zuckerberg actually went before Congress and said that Facebook was being pressured by the administration, the Biden administration, to censor people for telling the truth. And then yesterday, that's the same exact thing that happened. Now, what's interesting about that is they never give me a link to appeal. So now I'm going to have to send Facebook a cease and desist letter, and also make sure that they understand that Mark Zuckerberg himself went before Congress and said that he was getting pressure to censor people on real information. Now, for Facebook to censor real information, it's not a conspiracy theory. See, that's what the title of this show is, when conspiracy theories become reality. And so I don't really think that it's a theory when we actually know what's happening. They want to call it as conspiracy theory. When I say they, I'm talking about the mainstream media and the ridiculous politicians who puppet the same exact thing every 5 minutes. So it's like at 4 a.m. they get their talking points, where today we're going to talk about conspiracy theories. We're going to say that anybody putting out information on the 2020 election that doesn't agree that it was fair and square is going to be called a conspiracy theorist. So just make sure that you put that out there all day long. And then you got Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Jasmine Crockett. And believe me, Crockett is the perfect name for her because the croc is real. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. So all of these people go out there and puppet, parrot the same exact thing. And we've had video after video after video of them literally saying the same exact sentences because they don't have enough brains in their heads to actually think of anything on their own. And if you think for a minute that Obama is the one that's behind any of this stuff, you really seriously have another thing coming, because he is not the top of the chain. He was groomed for his position. So, hey, Tracy Lowe, what's going up there? She said, it's been a while since, and nice to see you. Thank you. The conspirators tell us what is and is not a conspiracy theory. I know. They commit the crime, and then we're supposed to believe them when they say, oh, that's not a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy theory, when we're actually calling them out for the exact thing they're doing. And don't think for 1 second that for the past, 20 years at least, that the Democrats have been crying every single time there's a Republican in office about how the election system, the voting system, is rigged. They say it over and over again. We've got videos of them saying it over and over again. So they're literally telling you exactly how they're doing it. And so you can just go back and see all the Democrats saying it. So for Facebook or YouTube's trying to take out one of my other channels right now. See, this is what is so inconsistent about them, is they'll attack one channel, but not the other ones. So it's broadcast on multiple things. However, hi, Mark. Nice to see you. We'll see you a little later. We've got it broadcast on multiple places, and yet they only attack one. So either the bots are that stupid, or whoever is the little liberal that has their panties in a wad because actual truth is being said doesn't know the rest of the story. And I don't even care if they do. I'm just sick and tired of it. And I'm going to say, if you guys want to let Mark Dice know this, I think he needs to stop whining about neocons and all that stuff. I'm tired of seeing Mark Dice continually whining. You know, it's like, get something new. All right. I'm tired of it. Years ago, when all of this stuff started, I had sent Mark Dice an email, which is very hard to find, by the way, an email letting him know that channels were being shut down and censored for the information that we were putting out. We, meaning me, the other podcasters, and all that stuff. And you know what I got from him? Crickets, total crickets. And now he's just attacking all kinds of people. And I'm like, what? Why are you doing that? You're wasting all this time. And half the time I turn him off now because I'm like, that is not why I tuned into you to listen to you do that kind of thing. So if you want to say something that's real, I'll listen to that. But other than that, you know, I don't care about the rest of the podcasters, really. That's not the problem. The problem isn't them. The problem is the government. And we are being bombarded constantly with things that are no longer conspiracy theories. They're actual conspiracies against us. I think Obama is just one of them. Now, I've got several videos here that we're going to go over, and not all of them are the same exact subject, but they're totally related. And I don't think you can put your finger on one specific thing that is happening in the government. I think it's a lot of different things all at the same time, designed really to launder money to the elitist group. Yes, they're trying to prevent me from sharing the truth, and it really is annoying. I mean, if Mark Dice wants to talk about something, he needs to talk about the money laundering schemes. I mean, he could do a whole list of money laundering schemes that they're doing, and USAID isn't the only place. So you're going to figure this out today, and I'm going to tell you that there's more going on here than just the government shutdown. It's more than that. Yesterday I was discussing with someone how, and a lawyer, how the mortgage industry, the corruption in the mortgage industry itself being covered up by judges and lawyers is bigger than the child sex trafficking thing, which, if you can even mind-bogglingly believe that, it's true. And so I'm not diminishing children in any way, because I think mortgage or children, I would choose children to help them over the deal with the mortgage. But since people have the ability to direct their energy in several different ways, I think that we need to be paying attention to all of this. And you know, I thought about doing something where the government is a reflection of the church, but I thought, let's just stick on this subject. Maybe I'll do that next week. There's so many subjects to cover and so many things to put in your head that, you know, you just need to really think about the things that are around you personally and your circle, because your circle is where they're really hurting you the most. I don't really care about the shutdown that much. And the reason I don't is because it's federal, and I really think the federal government needs to be smaller anyway. I think the only thing that the government is supposed to be doing is keeping your area safe. That's pretty much it. Guarding your rights and making sure that they're not infringed. Other than that, I mean, you know, as Donald Trump said when he was first running, you know, we had streets, we had roads, we had things before 1933, and we can do it again. It's just getting the people's minds to go back there is going to be really tough because they're so indoctrinated. So let's start off with this first video here, and we'll watch it. These videos are more, I don't put videos that are over 3 minutes or 2 minutes really in the front of the show because they're a little long. So let's start with this one.
Customs and Border Protection officers in Chicago have seized more than 19,000 fake IDs in the first half of this year, with the majority arriving from China and Hong Kong. According to a news release issued by the CBP, the fake driver's licenses were intercepted at the International Mail Facility at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport between January 1st and June 30th this year. CBP Chicago said on Twitter, "Take a look at these IDs.
This is why I keep telling you, it's not just a conspiracy about one thing. It's conspiracies over and over again in multiple areas.
Same person, different bioinfo. Officers in Chicago have kept a tally of how many fraudulent IDs have come through the O'Hare mail facility.
Fraudulent ID.
From January 1st to June 30th, CBP officers have seized nearly 20,000 counterfeit driver's licenses. The 19,888 seized fraudulent IDs, which arrived from China, Hong Kong, the United Kingdom, and South Korea, were in the majority of cases headed for neighboring states, mainly for college-aged students. CBP's Ralph Piccirilli said in a statement, "These counterfeit driver's licenses can lead to disastrous consequences. Criminal organizations use these counterfeit IDs to avoid attracting attention to their illegal activities." CBP said many of the fraudulent IDs had the same photograph, but different details listed. A major cause for concern was that the barcode attached to the fake Michigan licenses worked. The fake IDs can lead.
Yeah. These IDs are coming in and being distributed. Who do you think's voting? You know what I'm saying? Who's voting? They can hand these out like candy. I don't know if you know this or not, but if I remember correctly, yesterday I saw an article where I'm pretty sure that Gavin Newsom in California put out 62,000 CDL licenses to illegals. That's a lot of people on the road who shouldn't be.
To identity theft, worksite enforcement, critical infrastructure protection, and fraud.
Why do you think I always tell you China already knows? China already sees your data. China already is gathering your data. And so if you think that someone isn't, that's why I said, if you don't cast your vote, someone else will. You can't catch them if you don't go to the poll.
Linked to immigration-related crimes such as human smuggling and human trafficking. These documents can be used by those individuals associated with terrorism to minimize scrutiny from travel screening measures.
They can also get jobs and infiltrate various departments, whether it's, and believe me, they want to be in the government. Look at Mamdani. He's blatantly out there. But how many people have infiltrated our system all the way from the local to the federal who have these fake IDs? Look at the guy who was in Iowa. Who was the guy in Iowa, here illegally, just caught by ICE, was the superintendent of the schools? Come on now. Tracy says, now we think about it. This is a part of their agenda to push real ID. They are working on total control. Exactly. And Palantir has said, Palantir, that company, which is absolutely in every single aspect of your life with some kind of surveillance, whatever that might be, surveillance technology, because that's what it is. When they say data collection, they mean surveillance technology. So don't be fooled. These guys absolutely 100% said that their goal is total domination. Go look at the videos from Palantir. You'll see that in there, they're talking about total domination.
Timothy Lamar, CBP Port Director for Dallas-Fort Worth, warned against obtaining fraudulent identity documents overseas, as counterfeiters will have access to personal information.
Right.
Lamar said in a statement reported by Fox News, "What is most disconcerting about these interceptions, besides the volume in which we are experiencing, is the ease in which so many young people freely share their personal information with counterfeiters abroad."
And don't think for 1 second that it doesn't happen in the United States, because, okay, for example, today I want to e-file, I thought I had the document here. I wanted to e-file some documents in a county recording. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I don't want some ridiculous person on the other side of the counter telling me I can't file what I already know I can file. I would rather deal with someone who is a computer, because those can easily be manipulated. I mean, please, come on. Than a ridiculous living being who is indoctrinated to BS, trying to obstruct me from what it is I need to do. Okay. Now, I don't like a bot and all this AI stuff any more than anybody else, but the obstruction is unreal. real. So today I did that, and I've already got e-filings. I've already signed up for e-filing in a different county because I frequently file things there. But on this particular document, they wanted my social security number. Are you seriously insane? You have no reason to have my social security number. So all I did was the last four. But I thought to myself, what do you need that for? Who are you reporting to that you need to have my social security number on anything? All you are is a county recording. That's it. For me to put my social security information on there or any kind of information like that on there was totally unacceptable. Unacceptable in every way. So you guys need to be able to say no. And you need to, I said, I'm not aware of any statute that tells me that I have to do that.
He said, we'll continue to collaborate with local law enforcement to educate the public and anyone who is contemplating purchasing a counterfeit ID online on the potential dangers of sharing your personal identifiable information with a criminal element.
Here we are again, looking backward, saying, well, we talked about this in 2020. I think they found almost 20,000 driver's licenses at O'Hare International Airport, Chicago. And it was like, yeah, that's not a big deal. The truth is what?
It was a big deal because it was corroboration for a plot that a confidential human source had told the FBI about in August 2020. But neither the original intelligence coming in from the informant or the subsequent seizure of 20,000 fake driver's licenses from Hong Kong and China got the FBI off its stuff to investigate whether there was a ongoing effort to malignly influence the 2020 election by a foreign power. Sure. It's really remarkable. These things would normally automatically create investigations, but here somebody grabbed it into a dark closet and kept it from the American people, from the Congress. And of course, we were told after the election, no foreign intrusions at all. We now know there were two separate attempted foreign intrusions in the 2020 election.
I just can't believe it. I just can't believe all the stuff that we have to go through. We're obstructed constantly, and I don't know. I don't know about you, but it's actually sickening to me that every time we turn around, somebody else is obstructing us from doing something, and that is just a tiny part. So that's why I see these people and they say stuff like this. I think I found the bottom line. You're never going to find the bottom line because there's so many bottom lines. There's this, 10,000 bombardments of bottom lines. Okay. That the conspiracies that are out there are now accumulating. I went to 4 different counties in California to have documents recorded and was turned away every time. It's here. It's crazy. I'm going to give you guys a little clue. If your county recorder refuses to file your documents, you can send it to the Secretary of State with an instruction letter. And then you can take that to your county clerk and recorder and say, see, here's at least one department in the state that knows what their job is. You're obviously not one of those, but you got elected, you're getting a paycheck, and what are you doing? You're obstructing people from doing their business. That's actually illegal. Yeah. So it just pisses me off all the time to see these people getting away with this on every level. We should be complaining at the county meetings and say, we're being obstructed from doing our business. Because it's just ridiculous. I've been obstructed from doing business because I wasn't a business. Okay, county clerk and recorder, because I wasn't a business doing 25 documents a day. I've been obstructed that way.
I don't care about the others in the event. Okay, I don't care about them. Let's just stay very focused on impeachment.
My name is Kerry Porch. I'm a satellite uplink technician. I'm a contractor at the CNN Washington, D.C. Bureau.
But Jeff Zucker, basically president of CNN, has a personal vendetta against Trump. It's not.
See what I mean? These personal vendettas, they have personal vendettas. And they will go out of their way to try to deploy a personal vendetta against someone because they don't care about you. So if you think they care about you, you are sorely mistaken. No, it's never been about you. It's always been about them.
Be positive for Trump. He hates him. He's going to be negative.
I decided to wear a hidden camera.
I'm not trying to be creative monster. I want you to get full play every single day. Media creative with Trump.
I decided to secretly record the 9 a.m. rundown call meetings, and it's basically run by Jeff Zucker, the president of CNN.
We're moving towards impeachment. I mean, don't, we shouldn't pretend, this is going one way, and so all these moves are moves towards impeachment.
When I came to work at CNN, I mean, it was my dream job, and that dream...
That's what I did with ABC. I was like so happy that I got a job with ABC News. I'm like, wow, I don't have to go to MSNBC. I don't have to go to all these low-life scumball jobs. My dream job was like, yeah, I made it because I was working at ABC. And then to find this stuff out.
Actually just turned into a nightmare.
So I just want to say on the Instagram front, I know that there's a lot of people at CNN that are friendly with Instagram. Time to knock that off, and it's time to call them out. And I think what's going on in America now is really fundamentally the result of years of fake news, conspiracy, nonsense from fake.
Said them. They're putting out the fake news. They're putting out that false reporting, provable false reporting. And he's talking about fake news.
Fox News.
He was calling Fox News fake news and a propaganda machine. And with what I saw, I'm like, that's pretty much what CNN was. Like, it's just pumping out propaganda.
The fake conspiracy nonsense that Fox has spread for years is now deeply embedded in American society. And frankly, that is destructive to America. And I do not think we should be scared to say so.
I just wanted to own where they're at. Like, hey, if we lean left, cool. Let's just say we lean left. If we lean right, let it be known. But again, it just dovetails back in that thing. I just want people to have the information to make up their own minds.
That's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to make up your own mind. CIA clowns, enemy of the people. Yes, that's true. I ended up recording my paperwork in Pima County, Arizona, because Mike County refused to record it. See, this is what they do. So now, so far, we have talked about the fake IDs coming into the United States of America in droves. Okay, so big packages of fake IDs. And who do you think gets these things? You think that a regular American is getting those things? No, it's people who are illegally here. People who are absolutely 100% doing something shady. I'm trying to decide whether or not this QO American lady, KQO American lady is, okay, I see. All right, cool. Because you wrote in syntax there for a second. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? But I did recognize it. Thank you very much. I didn't need a fake ID. I know. If you're doing what's right, you don't need a fake ID. The Dems don't own the media. Well, the media owns the Dems. I don't think that's necessarily true. And here's why I'm saying that. Okay, so it was long established when I was doing journalism for ABC News and all that stuff, that the majority of television was owned by the left, and the majority of the radio was owned by the right. And when I say by the right, I'm talking about people like Koch brothers who manipulate stuff anyway. All right, so I don't think it's better one way or the other. They're both lying. I mean, Koch brothers, Christine. Okay, I see. The Koch brothers have Americans for Prosperity, and they do surveys. So they call people and they have their people doing surveys all the time. All right. Well, if you read the survey is twisted too. So it's geared, surveys are geared towards whatever you want it to be skewed towards. And if they don't like the answers that they're getting, they'll skew the questions even more so in order to get these things that they want on the record. Okay. So you can't even trust a poll at all. Who owned by the CIA? Who? Oh, you're talking about the media. Yeah, I do. I don't necessarily think the media was originally owned by the CIA or anything like that, but they definitely work hand in hand. There's no reason to own them when they're willing to do whatever it is you want them to do for the right amount of money. I mean, it's just like, why does Russia have to do anything? I don't understand why Russia would have to interfere in any elections when the Democrats are doing it fine. They're doing it themselves. What's the point of interfering with an election when you already know what the Democrats are going to do? It's like putting out little breadcrumb trails and you know that the Democrats are going to do it. So it makes no sense to me why we would have to have interference from anyone. Now, do they send the data overseas? Absolutely, they do. But the underlying thing here is that the Democrats and the deep state themselves, okay, have created these machines in various formats, okay, because if this one gets shut down, this one's still going. If that one gets shut down, this one's still going. And if that one still gets shut down, this is still going. It's the same thing when you get 500 different servicers for your mortgage, okay? So too many people are catching on to Lakeview, so let's shut down that. That was Mr. Cooper. So many people, all these people have Mr. Cooper. Well, too many people are starting to question, is Mr. Cooper what's going on with this Mr. Cooper servicer thing, you know? And they started to get a class action lawsuit against him. Then they just say, oops, sorry, we're dissolving that one and we're going to pop ourselves up as Lakeview or Carrington or PPH or whatever these other services are. We're going to pop our heads up as something else, and we're going to keep bombarding these people with the same exact corruption that got the lawsuit in the very beginning. You're not winning anything. All they're doing is interchangeable heads, okay? That's it. It's the same thing with the politicians. They're interchangeable heads. So you think you got a new guy. Look at Chicago. Lori Lightfoot out. This Brandon Johnson in. Same thing. Interchangeable heads. I mean, sure, he doesn't look like Beetlejuice, but hey, what's the difference? The outcome is worse than when she was there. And that was bad. Every time you think it can't get worse, the Democrats do something that's even worse than they did before. So don't underestimate them. They'll always do something bad. That you can guarantee. That's what Mr. Donald says over and over. They are the enemy. The Dems are puppets. Well, that's true. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. Well, you know what's interesting about Mr. Casey's quote there? Richard put that up there for us. Is I would say the majority of the American people don't watch mainstream news anymore. And I think the reason that they don't is because it is so tainted. It's pathetic, which is why Donald Trump was able to win an overwhelming majority, even with the ballot stuffing, even when the Democrats thought, okay, this is going to be the same thing like it was in 2016. There's going to be an overwhelming amount of people that are going to go over there and they're going to try to vote for Donald Trump. So we're going to have to really, really make sure that we monitor the situation as much as we possibly can so we can thwart the efforts. That's what they did in 2020, and that's what they tried in 2024. Casey was overconfident. Well, you'd have to, the amount of people, okay, for example, I can't tell you how many times we have warned parents not to put their kids in public school. Okay, I knew back in 1984, 1982, not to put my kids in public school. Okay. And everybody thought that I was crazy because I kept saying, I don't think public school is a place for these kids. They're getting indoctrinated. Everybody that I can think of, okay, was calling me a nut job because I kept saying that. And I kept saying it and kept saying it, kept saying it, was ostracized for it, and left where I was for a long period of time. And when I left, they all started doing homeschool. Now, do you think those people are going to come back to me and start and say anything like, oh, sorry, you did tell us about homeschool a long time ago? No. It's not going to happen. I don't even care. But 84 to 2024. Are you seriously kidding me? Are you telling me that conservative people don't get it so much? They think that they're going to override the school system when it's infiltrated from the bottom, when it's infiltrated from your local people. You don't have to have federal funding for that. You've already got a school board in your neighborhood that's okay with putting porn for kids. Why are you putting your kid there? You going to go to the school board meeting every 5 minutes to yell at them about something? And then you're going to have a threat of some holier than thou street thug standing behind you, threatening to get rid of you because you said the truth? And the school board shutting down the meeting because we don't want to hear that, or running out the back door? Teachers union is the largest union in the world. Yeah, they should be shut down. I'm just telling you right now, the teachers union is filled with a bunch of mentally ill lunatics, and you can see it. Look at their TikToks. It's like you're not even interested in teaching kids reading, writing, and arithmetic. You're not interested in teaching kids how to actually sound out words. Okay. I've got people that I know that are in their 30s and 40s who don't even know how to sound out a word. That's bad. The conspiracy starts in the school. Why are you putting your kids in there? And don't tell me it's because, well, you know, they got to go to school. They got to go to school because I don't know what to do. I'm going to be working. No one said that a kid has to go to school Monday through Friday, for one thing, or from this time to this time. You can do school whenever you want. And so that means you put the school hours around you. You're not dictated now by this time frame, making people go to these teachers' meetings for no reason other than to be derogatory towards you. And don't think for 1 second you can't teach your children something. Those kids would be a lot smarter if they weren't in that indoctrination camp. They wouldn't be peer-oriented, and they would be more respectful to you. But instead, they whine and cry, and parents just let them go. It's amazing to me. Let me just tell you this. I will not engage with any children. I don't care who they are. And the reason I won't is because I'm not going to tolerate that crap. I'm not going to tolerate that kind of crap. And I'm not going to have the parents coming to me and saying anything. I'm not going to have the kid going to their parents and lying. Not happening. So I'm not going to engage with any children. Nope. I don't have anything against children. I have 6 children myself. But I'm certainly not going to be subjected to the ridiculousness of today's society, trying to put things, making children do things that are absolutely insane. My son's fiance just graduated and is now a teacher, and she refused to indoctrinate kids, so she works for private school. That's the only way to do it. I don't understand why teachers aren't the good teachers. Okay? I don't understand why the good teachers aren't making little schools of their own. There's programs out there. There's programs out there for teachers to have a little school in their own neighborhood. Ralph said, Mommy, April is mean to me. Yeah, exactly. A long time ago, somebody wanted me to watch their kid a kid with a history of lying and assaulting people. I said, there is no way that I would ever have that kid in my house. Don't even bring him to my house. It's not going to happen. And I had to be right up front with them. Sorry. No way. No, thank you. Now look at this.
Thought that USAID money, USAID money, being sent to AWEB would then be used to enable election fraud. They are making it possible for those to seize power in an undemocratic, illegal way that should be stopped.
The Chinese Communist Party and the leftists in America, through USAID, are coordinating and supporting what AWEB is doing and what the National Election Commission. It's just a Korean issue, but it's a worldwide issue.
Worldwide.
And how is it that the center of the international election fraud cartel is in South Korea? AWEB is the center of this dictators are us enterprise. And more people are realizing that this is happening in Canada, this is happening in Australia, this is happening in Kyrgyzstan, this is happening in Ecuador, it's happening in the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
You did hear that he said it was an election cartel. See, what cartels are they're little groups of things that hate each other, okay? They don't like each other. They all want to be king. But the first thing they got to do is get you out of the way.
Happening in Iraq. It's it's happening all these different places. In Brazil. In Venezuela. Venezuela was involved in the election fraud software as well. So this is something that is an international issue and an international crisis, and it's been spreading like cancer. But how is it that the center of this, AWEB, is right here in South Korea? It is crazy. South Korea is such a good ally with the United States. And so the Chinese Communist Party and the leftists in America through USAID.
Now, do you read what's on that screen? USAID, Democrats and American taxpayer dollars funding election fraud cartel in over 100 countries called AWEB.
Are coordinating and supporting what AWEB is doing and what the National Election Commission. I will say it again. The National Election Commission is a criminal fraud organization.
In 2020, during the presidential election of Donald J. Trump and Joe Biden, most Americans thought that the election was not conducted fairly and properly. And recently, Kash Patel
and we were censored
released a report in which he was indicating that there were plane loads of non-U.S. citizens coming with fake IDs from places like Hong Kong and South Korea and Great Britain, and coming to vote in an election that they had no business voting in.
Now, do you see how that boatload of IDs actually coincides with this thing here? Do you see?
During the U.S. 2020 election, many people here in this country, and I think around the world, thought something was amiss. And so we really welcome and think it is entirely appropriate for our director of the FBI, Kash Patel, to be inquiring into this. And we also agree with and applaud President Trump's executive order calling for looking into what happened in the U.S. 2020 election.
Now, see, Democrats don't want you to look there. Rhinos don't want you to look there. Criminals don't want you to look there, because you will uncover exactly what they did. And if you don't solve that problem, you can't solve the problems of the elections that are coming up. which is why it's so important to analyze this thing. It is absolute fraud run by cartels. And it's not just one cartel. As far as I'm concerned, the Democrat Party is a cartel itself.
What happens in the U.S. affects the world. The United States also must care about what is happening in the world, and even more so when there is connection between the U.S. government and what is happening. Such a link exists where you have AWeB in South Korea joined by 109 countries, where AWeB has been exporting the means of election fraud to various countries around the world. As it turns out, it's not just a US issue, but the sorts of things that were happening in the US in the 2020 presidential election have been happening in a raft of countries around the world.
That's
places like the Democratic Republic of the Congo, you have places like Iran.
Why do you think that they would do that? You guys don't understand. These guys test their theories in places you won't look before they actually come after you for real. So a lot of these things that happen, like 9/11, all those types of things, are done to see what you'll do. Just like COVID was to see what you will do. How many will comply? How many will let it go? How many of you people have actually said stuff like, is it FDA approved? How many? Did you know that if you go to the hospital and you sign blindly those agreements that are at the hospital, it literally says on there that they will give you experimental procedures if they want to. Do you know what a experimental procedure means? It means that if you didn't want the COVID shot, you will get it if they determine that's what you're going to do. I got a doctor right now who can't, he's got his license, but it's suspended. And the reason it's suspended is because he refused to take the COVID shot. He wouldn't take the COVID shot because he has a heart condition. And one of the reasons why you're not supposed to take it is if you have a heart condition, because that will kill you. Now, you think YouTube's going to say, that's medical misinformation? You think that Facebook is going to say that's medical misinformation? I have a friend who died from that. And it was right after she told them, I have a heart condition. She said, I have a heart condition. She was a nurse. She said, I have a heart condition. I can't take that. So she was in the hospital. She had to be in the hospital. She goes to sleep. She wakes up. They're putting something in her IV. She asks what it is, and they tell her it's the COVID shot. Because you refuse to take it, we're putting it in anyway. And she was dead within 48 hours. So if somebody wants to censor me because I'm telling you exactly what health actually tells you, then that means that they're lying to you. And frankly, I'm sick of it. It's not medical misinformation. It's now established fact. And all of those things are coming out right now. Yes, I agree, Star. I agree with that 100%. I don't think you should be shooting people up with stuff when they just told you that that thing is going to hurt them. I don't think that you should be agreeing to experimental drugs just because the doctor said so. How many doctors just fell in line? How many doctors even read data and statistics and articles? You know, I've had doctors tell me stuff like, well, I read what the hospital gives me. Let me show you something about what the hospital gives me. Okay? She's going to tell you something. You need to pay attention.
All right, everyone. So I'm heading to Capitol Hill. Just got off the metro. Okay, so they are voting on the Shutdown Fairness Act today. But I figured something out. Okay, I think I understand why this shutdown is happening. Because I've been scratching my head like, why would the Democrats be shutting down the government, depriving federal workers in the military of basically pay and food, and then depriving the military of their health care through TRICARE? I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would you be so hell-bent on this? And I don't think it has anything to do with the talking points that, oh, it's the far left radicals. No, it has nothing to do with that. That they're against Trump. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fucking insurance companies. So I found out these people, even though the government shut down, because of the ACA, their payments every month are coming directly from the Treasury to their bank accounts. So the insurance companies, United Healthcare, Aetna, Molina, Kaiser, they are getting paid right now, mandatory pay every single month, while the federal workers and the military get nothing. And so
you guys do know that Obama gets money from Obamacare, okay? And when she's talking about insurance, she's talking about one specific kind of insurance, but it's not just that. Every single thing is insured. Who thought of that? Attorneys, bar attorneys. Who wrote the stuff? Who wrote every single statute? Who wrote all of those little contracts that you have on every little thing? Who wrote the contracts for your house, your car? Who wrote all of that? Who wrote the manuals for all of these things? Who looks over the manuals to make sure that they're compliant? Who do they run to as soon as they want to know something? The attorneys. So you think for 1 second that the attorneys haven't thought this through? Let's put insurance on every little thing. So that way, if they default, it doesn't make any difference because we're going to get paid anyway. So there's insurance on every single thing. And if there was an insurance person who is actually telling you the truth in any kind of upper echelon capacity, they would tell you, yes, we have insurance for every little thing. So that it doesn't make any difference. They're going to get paid one way or another. So she's correct, but she's not correct limiting it to just this one thing.
now it's finally making sense. This has nothing to do with healthcare. It has to do with dark money from the billion-dollar insurance companies. Because keep in mind, if they lose the ACA credits for next year, they're not going to get any of that money. They won't get any of that money. So even though the tax credits are tax credits, what actually happens is these tax credits get paid on behalf of you, the insured, and they go directly to the insurance companies. So that's why the Democrats are fighting so hard on this. It has nothing to do with people's premiums. It has to do with the fucking insurance companies not getting billions and billions and billions of dollars in January and next year. So what finally occurred to me this morning, and that's what took me so long, I had to do research to figure out how those tax credits were paid. But this shutdown, it's about them. It's about the billion-dollar insurance companies. And so everyone in at least the talking points of the Democrats are like, oh, the premiums are going to go up. Why don't you hold the insurance companies accountable? These are not market rates. They're setting the premiums. They're the ones that are deciding to keep human beings without health care. That has nothing to do with what the government does. If anything, the government's making worse. The problem is the insurance companies. They're setting the premiums, they're setting the rates, and then their providers are setting, that they own, they fucking own the hospitals, and the providers are setting these
Did you hear what she said? They own the hospitals and the providers.
Rates for procedures. And so then they're making money off of the hospitals. This entire shutdown has nothing to do with healthcare and everything to do with the billion-dollar corporations, United Healthcare, Aetna, Kaiser, Molina. They are the ones that are keeping the government shut down right now. And this is how dangerous it is to have dark money from corporations like them involved with our politicians, and this is why the entire government is shut down right now. And I finally figured it out, because I just couldn't get it. Why would the Democrats do this unless the insurance companies are threatening to not fund their re-election next year? And there it is. This is all about health insurance companies and not about people trying to access health care. Because if you were trying to get people to access health care and you wanted to make it cheaper, then you force the insurance companies to quit raising their premiums, and you put a cap on what those premiums are every year.
Yep, she's right. She's right about that. So, you know, when they try to tell you that it's about one thing, it's not. She's just got a little tip of the iceberg there. But like I said, everything, just like I told you on Wednesday, I told you on Thursday, I told you today, all of this stuff, and I've been saying this for a while, all of this stuff goes back to the attorneys and the Bar Association. Who are the politicians? The attorneys. So you don't think for 1 second that they're not sitting there and trying to figure out every single day how to keep you down and how to make them rich. It is unbelievable to me that the people can't even stop for a second to take the time. You know, if you'd stop running around your kids around to every little event that there is and thinking that you're a bad parent if you don't run them around, okay? You could actually have enough time to sit down for a second and figure out what's going on here. BlackRock, I would say who owns those insurance companies? Okay. I would say it's BlackRock, Vanguard, but see, then who's the head of those? You see what I'm saying? But all of these things go back to the same issue over and over and over again. Everybody wants you to be submissive to them. They really would be very afraid of us if we all stood together. Have you ever noticed how quickly they back down when a bunch of people get together and they say, no, we're not doing it. We're literally not doing it. What happens when the entire community comes together and goes to one of the county meetings or one of the city meetings? Or there's a lot of people that go up to Congress. Let me tell you this, okay? And this is unbelievable to me. All right. So they wanted to install a health czar in the state of Missouri and I call him a health czar because he won, apps on our phones to track you everywhere you know, all of your contacts, so that if you decided you weren't going to get whatever mandatory vaccine that they had, then they would contact all of your contacts whenever they felt like it. And we were like, no way. The guy who they were going to install, the first thing he said was he wanted everyone in the entire state of Missouri, 100%, to have the COVID vaccine. All right. And I thought, who are you to tell me what to do? Who are you? So anyway, now, Missouri is not a small state. Okay. Let's see what the population of Missouri is right now. It says it's 6.245 million. So about 6.25 million people. All right. So 6.25 million people. That's a lot of people, isn't it? You would think that we should have to have a lot of people in to do a protest on anything. You go, man, you're going to have a lot of people. I'm going to show you what the percentage is. I'm going to tell you, it's like so low. It's ridiculous. I want to tell you how many, what the percentage is. Okay. So if people showed up, you would think that you'd have to have, I don't know, some ridiculous amount, like, I don't know, over 1,000. maybe 5,000 people show up to protest the installation of a health czar, right? That's what you would think. You'd go, man, there's going to have to be a lot of people there to get rid of this guy. I mean, Congress is in session. They're having this guy. They're going to do a confirmation hearing. I don't know what I'm going to do because I just think that if I show up, it's not going to make any difference. Okay, so 6.25 million people in the state of Missouri. About 500 people showed up to that hearing with that guy, which is 0.0008% of the population. That's not even if you had pennies, 6 million pennies. That's not even a penny. Okay. That is what it took to shut down their voting for a health czar. 500 people. That's it. I think that says something. First of all, it says that 6.25 million people in the state of Missouri, the majority didn't want that, but the majority didn't show up. It only took less than 1% of the people, less than 0.5% of the people to show up to get something done. You know, you see sometimes on my stuff where it has a 3%er. What do 3%ers do? 3%, it is a proven fact that 3% of the population of a country will actually stand up and fight for it. That's it. That's what a 3%er is. So are you going to be one of these people that actually show up to do something and stop saying, well, I can't do anything about it. There's nothing I can do. You're going to be one of those people. You're going to be that less than 0.5% that make things happen. Because believe me, when we all showed up, they were scared. They said, okay, we won't install that guy. In fact, they banned him from even having a job in the state of Missouri at all. Good riddance. It takes a very small group of people to get something done. Do you know that when you fill the county seats in a hearing, like they have their meeting, their monthly meeting or their weekly meeting or something, when people fill those seats, that makes them all nervous. All of them nervous. When it's filled to overflowing, that's not even very many people. There's no thousands of people seating in these things. They may have 100 or 200 tops. It's really small because they don't anticipate anybody showing up. So when you fill it to overflowing, that makes them really nervous. And that's where you want them to be, not you. You should be going there and saying your mind all the time and taking people with them. What's scary about that is where that guy going to show up next. Where's that guy going to show up next? I know. When I was in Jackson County, I showed up to every single thing. Every single thing. And they'd be like, oh my God, not her again. No, what you going to say this time? That's the way they should be. Every time you guys show up, they should be like, oh man, what's going to happen now? You know what's going to happen now? I'm going to call you out for not doing your job. I mean, if you were doing a good job and I didn't have to come here all the time and say something, I'd be happy about that. But I have to come here and say something about that. The last time that I went to a city council meeting, it was about the LGBTQ flags flying on government property and the signs all over the place. The government property was flying the flag of LGBTQ stuff, you know, the rainbow thing, putting it on all of the signs outside of all the government buildings and everything else. And all these people were dancing around the issue. And so when it was my turn to get up there, I said, the rest of the issues I think are kind of minutiae compared to the fact that every single time you see that sign, the first thing you think of is sex. That's the first thing you think of. Somebody's doing something sexual. That's it. There's nothing else. And the government should not be involved in promoting sexual anything for any reason whatsoever. So to put that symbol on anything that has to do with a government building is absolutely against public policy at all. Why is the government putting sexual signs on stuff? It's not something that they should be doing. And you should not be accosting neighborhoods with it. You should not be helping to have sexual parades, because that's all it is. It has nothing to do with a group of people who are being discriminated against whatsoever, because basically it's accosting us with pornography. And I don't care. I don't want to see that kind of stuff. One time I was in line at Walmart, and I had these two girls behind me making out in the Walmart line. I turned around to them and I said, do you see anybody else doing anything like what you're doing at all? Anyone? Anyone? Whatever their sexual orientation, do you see any of them doing what you're doing? And they had to say no. And I said, okay, so why are you trying to flaunt your behavior in front of all the rest of us? Why? It's totally inappropriate no matter who you are. And so they stopped. But it's like, why aren't we calling them out? Why aren't we calling people out for this public display of sexuality that we don't need to see? I don't want to see that, and I do not want the government involved in that. And the next thing you know, the city council makes an ordinance that they are not going to be doing anything of that at all. And I thought, good. Now if we can just get it out of libraries. And I can't even tell you how many librarians were sitting there advocating for porn in the library for children. They got up, one right after another, one librarian right after another, saying how wonderful it is. Those are deviants. Those are deviant-minded people to put that kind of thing out there. And I thought, this is really absolutely disgusting that we should even have to have this conversation, because the people that we had installed in these chairs do no longer have any kind of morality whatsoever when it comes to common sense. What you do in your own life is what you do in your own life. In Christianity, you have the right to be wrong. You do. Do I want you to be wrong? No. Do I want you to do what's right? Yes. But you do absolutely do not have any right to infringe on me.